Well, a big welcome to everyone. We want to thank you so much for taking time to join us. We encourage you to visit our website, follow our YouTube page, follow us on Facebook to stay up to date with all of our latest offers. This is where you can find us online. So be sure to stay in touch with us. We're very happy that you found us for this webinar, and we hope to have you as long-term clients. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to talk about our valued clients, and why you're the most important part of our agency. And then we're going to talk about Globus Tours. And I have Irene. Irene, do you want to unmute yourself and wave real quick?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Suzanne and Steve for their Best of Norway Globus night. I'm so excited to be here and chime in as needed and give a little bit of Globus history in a little bit. If you have never been on a land tour, it has definitely evolved. And I'm going to send it back to you, Suzanne.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm really glad to have Irene here. She does work for the Globus office, so she is their direct representative and works hand in hand with me. She's my partner whenever it comes to putting all together these fabulous vacations for my clients. So we'll talk about the itinerary then, and Irene and I both have little tidbits to give you about Norway, and then we're going to talk to you about our pricing and our special promotions for the webinar. And we're here to answer questions. We want to make this your perfect vacation. So let's get started. So I'm going to just talk to you very briefly about our agency. I put a lot of this in here because people want to do business with someone they know and trust, and someone that they know has their best interest at heart. And that's really what we're all about. It's crafting extraordinary vacation experiences for you, our clients. We have a passion for exceptional service. I would say my biggest selling point that I have my clients coming back and back is that they get responsiveness, exceptional service from me. And anybody can sell you a vacation, a cruise, a tour package, but it's about making sure that it's the right fit for you, and that you are getting the most out of that package, and that every little detail is taken care of. And that's what I'm here for. So Steve and I are avid travelers ourselves. We understand the importance of quality travel experiences because we travel so much ourselves. And we are very lucky because thanks to very reliable internet around the world and on cruise ships, we can work from anywhere in the world. And we consider that travel that we take for ourselves to be an investment in our own business, because we leverage that firsthand experience to give our clients extraordinary vacation experiences and little tips from, that you wouldn't get unless we had been there and actually experienced the destination ourselves. We specialize in planning group cruise experience for wine groups, friends and family groups, escorted groups. And this one is sort of like a friends and family and everybody group. It's just going to end up being a wonderful experience. And our priority is to ensure that, again, every aspect of your trip exceeds your expectations. So I am a Globus and Cosmos certified specialist. I completed their coursework several years ago, and I have been selling their product for really 13, 14 years since I began my business. They actually came to our very first franchise owners training session and gave a really in-depth presentation about everything it is that they do. And they just really impressed me from the beginning. And they've continued to impress me with the way that they work with our clients. And Irene, if you just want to give a little history of Globus and how they started and where they are now.
Sure. My pleasure. And kudos to you and Steve if you guys have both. I know that you just mentioned you have completing all of your training for the GFAB University course that our travel partners are definitely encouraged to take. That's a certificate, guys, that is time consuming, and it's an investment for both Suzanne and Steve that shows their dedication to the brand and their commitment to you as being a dedicated travel partner to give you that vacation of your dreams. Everything that Suzanne said that dials in on her and what's important to her, as well as Steve for their agency. We, as a travel supplier that supports both of them, is the exact summary that I will show you later. To give you some history about Globus family of brands. We are a very small company that started out in Switzerland and beautiful Lake Lugano back in 1928. So we're almost going to be 100 years old in just a couple years. Antonio Mansagazza became inspired to share the stories of his home while using his family rowboat to transport lumber across beautiful Lake Lugano in Switzerland. And then all of a sudden that evolved to suddenly be transporting tourists instead. And then it blossomed into a worldwide name in travel between our three brands of Globus, Cosmos, and then Avalon Waterways. We have over 500 different tours. We travel to 73 different countries, and we're about to be 100 years old in just the blink of an eye in 2028. But we hit over six continents, including North, Central, and South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa, and Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, and the South Pacific. We've grown a lot in the last 97 years or so, if my math is right. And I know that Suzanne has picked the best tour for you for the best of Norway. We're going to talk about in just a little bit, but we wanted to give you some insight on exactly what Globus is for you, just so you can kind of put some background to what we're about to go into. So, what a Globus tour is, it's basically a vacation designed to have every detail taken care of for you, from first class transportation, the majority of your meals, hotel arrangements ranging from 4 to 5 star hotels in the countries that you will visit, as well as the cities. And even everything in each destination is planned out for you, including an abundance of a balance of free time, as well as planned out exclusive tours for you to do, most of which have that VIP access. So that way, if you're going to a popular spot in a popular city where there may be a line to get into, being a part of a tour Globus group, you have that VIP access and that knowledge from a local tour or cruise director, depending on what option you're taking and what part of the tour you're on. If you did a pre and post with Suzanne and Steve, they'd be able to definitely work that in for you. But the evolution of touring, it's evolved over time, and as well as travelers also, we have recognized that. So Globus has adapted and evolved as those trends have changed. We've refreshed Globus to be a brand that thoughtfully aligns with the evolving needs and preferences of today's traveler, which is a balance of inclusions and free time. More included excursions, more multi-night stays in the cities that you're going to visit, many travel styles, and it's a trip for all different demographics. So we make sure that we hit all of those boxes and give you a different option of touring style with a Globus tour.
All right.
Hmm.
I just wanted to mention some of the awards that you guys have won recently.
Yep.
Travel Weekly Reader's Choice, Travel Age West, Wave Awards, and of course, Newsweek Reader's Choice Awards. So these are both industry and consumer awards that Globus is winning. So they're kind of checking off all the boxes. So are we ready to move to the itinerary? Um, so it's April 25th, and it's the best of Norway. It's there, you can add the scenic train to Oslo for let's see, that's $460 per person. So I have it with the tour that ends in Bergen, which you see here. So you start in Oslo, you have 2 nights in Oslo, and then you make this wonderful voyage out here to Bergen and 2 nights in Bergen. But if you want to add that most scenic train route in all of Europe, you can do the Bergen to Oslo extension and it takes you right back. That also gives you the convenience of flying round trip to Oslo if you're doing this as a standalone vacation. So go ahead and move on. So talk about Oslo. It is a beautiful, stunning city on the Baltic Sea. The geography is on the Oslo fjord, and it's a green city, lots of gardens, lots of eco-friendly buildings. It has 40 islands in the city area, and there are 343 lakes within the boundaries. So it is a very lush, very green city. It's also got home to a lot of Norway's cultural institutions, like the National Theater, the Norwegian Opera. It's got various museums. There's a Viking ship museum. There's also the Norwegian Folk Museum. So there's lots of different things to see in Oslo. It's a beautiful destination. Steve and I got to spend 2 nights there a couple years back, and we just kind of did it on our own. So it was on our way to someplace else. We were going to Svalbard, which is a long story. But anyway, I wish I would have had a little bit more of a guided tour there because I would have learned so much more. And that's the one thing about going with Globus is that you're going to have expert guides in each city that you visit, and they know all the ins and outs, and they get you caught up on everything. So here's just some of my pictures that I took. That's the opera house you see there, and then there we had a high-rise hotel that had a bar at the top. So that's another something you could look up in your free time if you wanted to go find this hotel and go to the bar and have a drink and watch the beautiful views from there. You can do that as well.
Suzanne, if I can chime
Yeah,
in about the tour
yeah,
director for this
yes.
Best of Norway tour, her name is Anna-Lena Soderlin Tornell, and she's been escorting tours with Globus for more than 20 years. And in order for a tour director to be a tour director with Globus, they actually have to really work up their seniority and have experience, not in addition to being a local to the tour area that you're going to be visiting. So she's from Scandinavia and Russia, as well as she's well traveled in Central Europe. And she is a tidbit from what she mentions. She loves to give a piece of her culture to the guests, as well as the clients, to make sure that they feel at home. And she wants to really make sure that you feel like you are a local yourself, introducing you to all the aspects of that way of life in the area that you're going to be visiting. Really open your eyes and understand all of the customs, habits, and history of being in Norway during this tour that you're going to be doing. Because we all live in different places and it might be different. I'm in Southern California and Suzanne and Steve are in Arizona, and it's a little bit of culture shock between going from place to place. And Anna really makes sure, as your tour guide for the Best of Norway, that you're comfortable and your questions are answered, and whatever she can do to help you, she will definitely be there with you along the way. Really
Suzanne,
puts some
what did you show
personality to
for a
the tour.
date for the tour starting?
Uh, April 25th?
No.
No, May 25th. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we proofread this presentation. You didn't catch it either.
No,
May
just wanted
25th.
thank you, Alice, but just wanted to bring that up that we had the wrong date there.
Okay, thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Okay. Irene, are we ready to go? Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Okay.
give some color to who your tour director would
Yeah,
be.
exactly. That's fabulous. We have always been so impressed with our tour directors when we've done any of the Globus products, Avalon or the extensions for the Avalon cruises. So just very knowledgeable. So the second day in Oslo, you're going to get this wonderful half-day guided tour they call it the Walk in the Park. And Oslo's famous for this beautiful park space that has 200 different sculptures and just beautiful green areas. Just there's even the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony takes place here each year. So an amazing thing, and what's the thing about having the tour guide with you, is that she's going to bring all of this,
Mhm.
all of it in its meaning to life. And then you get some free time, which Globus always incorporates into their tours. And if you want to, you could purchase an optional tour from them. And so you can go to a ski resort that's out of town and enjoy the breathtaking views. You can also visit that folk museum that I mentioned on the previous slide. Or you could even, well, I guess that's kind of the other thing, but you've got some different excursions that you can take in addition to the ones that come with the tour. So you can customize it the way you want it. I mean, maybe you want to go to another museum, an art museum that's not even listed, so you have the free time, you could go and do that on your own. So that's the nice
Yeah.
thing about Globus tours, is that
Yeah,
everything is not You don't have to sit there and do everything with the group. You do have some time to do some stuff independently. There's a
Yeah.
wonderful food hall downtown. So maybe you want to go there and just do a food sampling. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to do in Norway. Um,
Yeah.
so the next day of the tour, you'll get up from Oslo and you'll head to this beautiful stave church in Borgund. So this is kind of a travel day. You're going to see a lot of scenery out the window of your coach, which by the way, the coaches are very comfortable with Globus. Let me see if I have these numbers right, and Irene can correct me if I have it right. A typical coach,
Do
if it
my
has,
best.
yeah, I think a typical coach will hold 60 passengers if every seat is pushed to the max, but I know Globus puts fewer seats than that in, so you have more
Yeah.
leg room and they're a little more spread out.
We typically strive for about 40, 45 people just to give some space because if a full coach is that many, every seat would be taken and we want to have a little bit of breathing room per se, but I would say a tour typically goes between 40 to 45 people.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a little more leg room. I mean, your coaches are
Mhm.
designed with somebody like Steve in mind. Where was it in there was someplace we went recently where the was it Japan, Steve, where the coaches were really small, or maybe
Anywhere,
New
the six
Zealand.
six foot one guys don't fit very well. Not even
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general, tour buses.
Yeah, yeah. But it's pretty comfortable on the Globus bus.
Yep.
On this day, you're going to have this beautiful drive. You're going to go see this church. You're going to get some free time, and there are even some optional tours that you can add on to
Mhm.
this day. So keep those in mind. You can book them ahead of time, or if the space is available, you can book them through the tour manager while
Mhm.
you are on the trip. So
Yeah.
that's another great way to customize your experience. Flam is absolutely gorgeous. I have visited there on a cruise ship, and we were lucky enough to spend the whole day there. The fjords are absolutely stunning. Here's another picture of what like the little town looks like there. There's the railway goes in and out of there. It's just a really beautiful place. So you will spend the night there, and then the next day you head out on the train, and this is the famous excuse me, Flam Railway, and you're going to go to these little places along the way. Breakfast and dinner is included, so you'll probably have free time in one of these little villages to get your own lunch and enjoy some of the local culture at lunchtime. Then
Yeah, you'll
from
go
there,
past, sorry,
oh, go
you'll
ahead.
go past on your train journey some deep ravines, beautiful waterfalls. You'll get to take lots of pictures of the snow-capped peaks of the mountains that you're going to be passing, and it is one of, as Suzanne mentioned, one of the world's steepest standard gauge railway lines. So you're really going to have almost an adventure when you're going through this train ride on the Flam. It's
Wow.
fantastic.
Yeah, it is one of the most famous train rides in the world. So you'll go through there, and then you're going to arrive in Hardangerfjord, Steinsdalfossen, and then on to Bergen, and you get 2 nights in Bergen. You'll get a chance to see the spectacular waterfall, some quaint little villages. This is really, where you're going to see some of these natural wonders, and it truly is a beautiful area of Norway. I think the scenery is one of the biggest attractions in
Mm.
Norway. But then you'll head over to Bergen and you spend your last 2 nights of the tour um, in Bergen, unless you do the Oslo extension back to Oslo. And one of the famous things in Bergen is they have a funicular that goes up to the top of this hill. And with being able to spend the night, you might be able to get up there and watch sunrise or sunset,
Wow.
to work with your tour manager. It is absolutely a stunning view from the top of that funicular. I've been up there myself, and it was really beautiful. One of the things that Bergen is most known for is their Hanseatic Wharf. And this wharf it's Hanseatic, which means German. So the German traders had these big houses there that they used as trade houses. And the big thing that the people traded was salted cod, along with the things that they could grow and produce in Germany. They'd be traded for the salted cod because not a whole lot of Norway is farmable. I mean, they basically have fish and oil in Norway now.
Mm.
They don't have a lot of areas. So it's another thing that's interesting that you'll find about Norway is you'll see this little plateau up on a mountaintop with cows and goats on it and sheep. And you're like, how do they even get up there? Any place where they can have grazing, they put the livestock up there because that's such a small percentage of the land is grazable. So it's very interesting to see how the Norwegians have adapted to their very rugged geology that they have there. So you'll in Bergen, you get an orientation drive that's going to include a little tour. You're going to get to see, of course, these famous painted houses. And then if this is your second night there, if it is you're not continuing on, that's your farewell dinner for the group. And so everybody has a nice dinner out together. But if you want to add that railway extension, I highly recommend it because this is another scenic journey. You're going to get a little bit of that railroad journey on the Flam Railroad, but it's a full day. It's about 6.5 hours on the railway, and you are going to see ever-changing, spectacular scenery. Here's a look of the map of the way that railway goes, and you can see it's a pretty extensive drive. You're going to go have a lot of altitude changes. Just to give you an idea of what the scenery is going to look like, you're going to have different things. You're going to go to the Hardangerfjord Plateau, which is like, it's a pretty high mountain, and it's Fence is the name of the city that's near there. And it's ironically, it's called like the miniature Antarctic because polar explorers use it to train when they I guess in the winter when the snow conditions are there. This doesn't really look like Antarctica when it's all green and lush like it is during the summer, but it is used as a training area. You're also going to pass by on that train ride lots of waterfalls, and there is a river, and it's known for its salmon. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely beautiful scenery. You'll see lakes and forests and some beautiful little towns along the way, and then you end up back in Oslo that night. And so, of course, our hotel accommodations are taken care of that night. And then the next morning, if you do the Oslo extension, your vacation ends in Oslo. I have looked at some of the hotels. Now, Globus always says this hotel or similar because sometimes for whatever reason, they're just not able to get the contract in for a particular week. Maybe there's something going on there, a convention or something, so they shift to a different hotel, but all of similar quality. They're all first class or similar hotels. This is the hotel in Flam. Look how adorable that is with the white building and the little, I guess, glass atrium there. Very cute. And then in Hardangerfjord, this is another beautiful, like, really, it really looks like a turn of the century hotel from the early 20th century. Just beautiful architecture there. And then in Bergen, again, this is this type of hotel or something similar there. You can see the hotels are all very beautiful and beautifully furnished. So
Very up to date.
yeah, lovely accommodations that you're going to get through Globus, as well as that cultural enrichment. So you don't have to feel like you're skimping on anything when you're doing a Globus tour. Now we do have a special. So the standard package for the tour that ends in Bergen is $27.39 per person, and that's based on double occupancy. If you are a solo traveler, the single occupancy supplement is very modest, and I can get you a quote for that. It's not double like like sometimes like on cruises it can be double. And then if you want to add that Oslo extension, that is another $460 per person, again based on double occupancy. Again, if you are a solo traveler, just reach out to me. I can get you a quote. But here is the webinar special. So if you book by June 14th, we have a secret code that we can put in it at Globus, and it's going to get you a $50 per person savings off the price that you see on the left. So it's a very special promotion that they set up just for me and my agency because we are doing this event tonight. So we hope that all of you will reach out to us and take advantage of that savings. It's a way for us to thank you for your time to come and learn about this product. And then also, we want to get you booked. So it's a little bit of incentive to get you booked. So people always ask me about air. You can choose to book your air through the Globus Air program. You do have some choice of your routing and the carrier that best meets your needs. Transfers are included when you book your air through Globus at no extra charge. And that's as long as you are arriving and departing on the brochure date. So, the beginning date and the end date, well, they'll include your transfers. It is available for booking 11 months. Actually, it says before the tour begins, but it's actually at the end of the tour. So we're right at the cusp of being able to book the air. It'll be really like first week of July when we can book air. And when you add the air, you don't pay for it in full. You just pay another $300 deposit to secure the air reservation, and then you pay it full at final payment. And with Globus, now Irene, correct me if I have this right, final payments due at 60 days before departure.
Typically, yes, it'll say for sure on the invoice.
Okay, yeah, but it's different from the Avalon product because I know Avalon is 90, which is your river cruise product. But this one is going
Yeah.
to be due 60 days before departure. So you get
Yeah,
to keep
that
your
is
money in your
correct.
pocket, a good time. We don't make you pay a full year in advance or anything like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, Avalon is Globus's sister company, and these are some of the, oops, I didn't mean to go over that. These are some of the rivers that they travel on. If you are ever interested in learning more about river cruise, I'm your woman to ask. They travel all over the world. And we have some group cruises on Avalon and a couple other cruise lines. And people, we're CruiseOne. People ask me, do you only do cruises? No, that's why I'm having the Norway night. But I always like to let people know what I have going because I work with a variety of different cruise lines. So we have a couple of escorted river cruises that we're doing. We have got two on the Avalon product and one with another company that we're partnering with a winery to do a wine cruise with. But if you are interested in the April 2026 Avalon Vista Romantic Rhine in Lucerne and Lake Como, we recorded a webinar on April 29th. And I'll show you how that one pairs up. That cruise there, you can do Amsterdam to Basel and then Lake Como. And then we'll put a 4-day custom package together for you in Milan or Amsterdam. Then you can join us for our group cruise on this Holland America Scandinavian capitals. This is a great way to see all of these amazing countries. And we do have a recorded webinar on that. And then you could join us. I don't have that. It should be the next slide, but I don't have it next for the Globus Best of Norway tour. You just spend one night in Amsterdam, fly to Oslo the next day, and you can join the tour. So that's a way to get an incredibly varied amount of countries and places all in one trip, all in one long haul flight. You get to see so much of Europe that way. So if you're interested, I can get you a price to what it would be to combine them all. Steve and I are escorting the Avalon cruise and the Holland America cruise.
Still talking about
We do,
Norway or not?
yeah, and the one continent that Globus doesn't do is Antarctica.
No.
So, but we can get you there. So if you want to get to Antarctica, we have several different ways to go see it. So reach out to me if that's on your bucket list. We also do small ship ocean cruising. And two of our favorite lines are Windstar and Azamar. And again, we have one of those back-to-backs with a 4-day custom package in Athens in between. But you can, small ship cruising in the Mediterranean, wonderful way to do it. If that's not enough, we have so many groups and so many escorted group cruises with CruiseOne. I mean, this is our bread and butter, and we get a lot of preferential pricing from the cruise lines. Again, we're CruiseOne, right? But we have so many different partners that we work with, and quite often I can find you some really, really great deals on both cruises or land tours, just like we're working with Irene on this land tour on this particular one. So again, I want to remind you of that special offer. If you book your next Globus tour or you want to learn more about Avalon Waterways River Cruises with us by June 14th of 2025, you're going to receive an additional $50 per person discount just for attending our virtual travel night event. So I just want to open it up to see if anybody has any additional questions. We
Remember, if you have
tried
a
to
question,
cover
you'll need to
everything.
unmute yourself.
And you've got two experts here. You've got Irene from Globus and me from CruiseOne. So we'd love to answer
Lamb
any
chop
questions
liver.
that you might
Sure.
have. Oh,
If you,
yes,
if
Just kidding.
I'd be happy to bring it home for you, Suzanne,
sure.
if there
Yes,
weren't any impending immediate questions that we can handle at the moment, just
yeah.
to put everything you talked about in a nice, pretty bow. With that price point, folks, that Suzanne talked about, remember that's basically your whole vacation package. What's included with a Globus tour is, as we mentioned, the perfect mix of on your own meals during your free time in the area is a variety of included meals. So we talked about how breakfast and dinners were included. That's a part of that price point, including and incorporating those local offerings to make sure that you feel like a local yourself in each of the tours cities that you're visiting. The hotels are 4 or 5 star hotels, while they may not be guaranteed for what exactly Suzanne highlighted for the best of Norway. We want to really make sure that they are the same caliber. And it goes into other events that could be going on in the area or other things that the hotel may be having going on. So that's why we give a suggestion and an idea. We still strongly keep to that 4 to 5 star level quality. The touring transportation is also included once you get to your day one spot. So, as we mentioned, the railways, the motor coaches, all of that transportation during the tour is also included for you. You'll have that dedicated tour director to help you give that tour that extra sprinkle of magic, answer any questions, be there for you as a local point of contact. And then, if anything were to arise, that tour director would be able to reach out to the Globus team for any assistance that you may need during the tour itself. It's also going to give you those exclusive VIP access to those popular attractions. So, where you may have a very busy day where you might be thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so busy, we're going to be waiting in line. You're not going to. A Globus tour is going to have you have that VIP access to those most popular destinations that are incorporated into your tour itself. Again, with a tour director, you'll have the local experience and the opportunities to have free time to explore on your own and adding some a la carte choices. Once you get your booking number, your invoice number from Suzanne and Steve, you'll be able to download and look at via the Globus Go app some of the included excursions that you can book at 90 days prior to your departure date or day of. And they'll give you some variety of options, suggestions, or during that free time, you can also do something on your own. But it's VIP vacation experiences that we can also add in. So, how Suzanne talked about Globus Air, that's going to get you to and from your home airport with transfers included, as long as it's, as she mentioned, within the brochure dates. That's a reassurance in itself because in Europe, the transfers could be quite costly, and adding in your airfare to your tour package is just a sigh of relief that you know that your transfers are taken care of for you to and from your home airport. And you can also, as she mentioned, talked about all those trip extensions that she's offering to you to add on that extra special experience after the 7 day Best of Norway tour. But
I was,
remember, oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to add something about getting on the trains. We did the Paris to Provence, the high-speed train.
Uh-huh.
And our tour manager took us to the Paris train station. He gave us all instructions. You stand here, you do this. This is our platform. This is where we're getting on. This is our and it just made it. It just took all the guesswork out of figuring out how do you get on a train.
Yeah,
So,
because it's way different
Americans,
there
yeah,
than
we
here for sure.
yeah. So, anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt, but
sure.
I was just thinking about how wonderful that was, that it was something that I completely did not have to worry about at all.
Yeah, and just having those details. I mean, I have not been to Europe as much as you guys have, but having that extra layer of comfort, knowing that you have a point of contact to give you all the ins and outs, cross your T's and dot your I's, is definitely a game changer for me. And with this may be a bucket list trip for you, or you may have been thinking about this for years. This tour is an adventure, but it's also an investment. you want to be sure that you speak to both Suzanne and Steve about travel protection and protecting your trip and what's most important to you, both prior to and during your trip. We have the tour director, we have a team ready for, God forbid, the most unexpected things, but you want to have that trip protection. And it's your vacation payment, your belongings, as well as any possible unforeseen medical expenses, God forbid, that could happen during the trip. And vacation protection will be there with you every step of that journey if you need it. So be sure to speak with them about protecting your investment and your adventure. And finally, as Suzanne mentioned at the beginning of our fun night together, we are an award-winning brand. We have been recognized by Reader's Choice, which happens every November in New York City, and we are Travel Weekly's continuous Reader's Choice voted award for Best Tour Operator for International, Best Escorted Europe Touring, Asia and Pacific as well, and best tour brand for escorted tours overall. And from a travel partner perspective, we love that we take home the best sales and service. A partnership between a travel partner and a travel supplier is so important, and we want to make sure that that travel partner, such as Suzanne and Steve, are delivering that vacation of your dreams. And so by working together, we can make sure that we exceed your expectations and get you on that vacation based on that qualifying conversation that Suzanne and Steve would have with you to get you on that right product that makes sure that we hit or they hit all of your bucket list wants and desires. It narrows it down to your interests. That is going to get you in the best spot. As well as Newsweek, Reader's Choice Awards. The Travel Age West Awards are actually out here in Los Angeles next week, and we're up for Best Tour Operator for Europe, as well as Best River Cruise Ship for Avalon. Lots of accolades that we are striving to continue to deliver the best experiences for you, to not only give you that best experience, but to add these feathers in our caps as well.
I was
And
just going
then,
to add really quickly
sure,
that those accolades are great. It speaks to a broad audience, but for me, the most important input that I get is from my clients when they come back. And when my
yes.
clients come back and tell me that their Globus or Avalon experience was surpassed expectations, it that's like, okay, yes, yes.
It
I mean,
makes you feel
that
so good,
yeah, they
right?
are so good. Yeah. And I don't really worry about it with your product, but some people they just you never know. Some people are just never happy. And I've even had some of the hardest people to please be very satisfied with their
Yeah.
Globus and Avalon experience.
And it's a
Yeah.
great segue because I was actually about to get into our 4.7 star out of 5 rating from Trustpilot. If you wanted to go to Trustpilot and search Globus or Avalon Waterways or even our Cosmos brands, you can see actual reviews from past travelers that talk about how great their trip was. So we are miles of smiles, and we really are proud of that feedback to make sure that we are delivering those vacations to have you going back to Suzanne and Steve, whom are your trusted travel advisors, to continue booking those vacations for you. Because Globus in the end recommends working with a travel advisor, such as Suzanne and Steve. They are going to be your fulfiller of dreams. Typically, a consumer enjoys 100% satisfaction with their overall trip experience when booked with a travel partner. And Suzanne and Steve, you can see I have never been to Norway, if I'm completely being honest, but Steve and Suzanne have, and they are really your vacation experts. They're going to take their knowledge and experience and get you on the right product, in addition to possibly getting you on this Norway tour based on their experiences of doing it in the past. They're your time savers. They are going to take the time to research everything for you. And sometimes that can take time. It can take hours on end. And with a travel partner, you get that time back as they are doing that research for you, answering all of your questions, dotting your I's, crossing your T's. And what myself as a supplier asks is if you are having that qualifying conversation with Suzanne and Steve, and you're talking about everything with them. They've checked everything off. Always be sure to continue booking and following through with that booking with them. They are your advocate, and most of all, their services to you are complimentary. And that's the best way to plan a tour, especially with something like this, where their knowledge is going to be priceless. So let them be your advocates, let them be there for your fulfiller of dreams, and have a fantastic time in Norway in May. It's going to be here before we know it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the endorsement, Irene. We work very, very hard for our clients. And like I said, we have been partnering with Globus and Avalon since the very beginning because it is such an impressive brand. So we said we wanted this to be interactive. I hope
Yeah,
we've
let's see if we have
answered a
any
lot of
questions too. Yeah.
questions, but
Yep.
any questions or comments, we'll just wait a second.
Might need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Well, let me finish up with our closing slide. This, of course, is going to have all of our contact information. I encourage you to reach out to me via email or a phone call. We can talk about your dreams, your expectations, and I can make sure that this tour is gonna fulfill those needs for you. And then we also have our website where you can read a lot about a lot of different products that we sell. And of course, our YouTube page where we post all of these informative webinars. So you can always check us out there. And then we're also on Facebook. And whenever we have a special, any kind of promotion, we usually put it out there on Facebook. So you'll be the first to learn all those things. So I want to thank you so much for coming to our webinar. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you see more of us. And we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the video.